Hi, Kareem.
Next to Joan is another
Right here? Excuse me, I got
I'd like to welcome everybody to the October Council meeting. We have a nice turnout tonight, which is always good. And as usual, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Lewis. Present. Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Councilmember McKeithen. Here. Vice Mayor Whitmer.
Here.
Mayor Dobbing.
Here. Tonight we have some presentations, and I think the first presentation is the introduction of Police Officer Bill Lane. So Ed, if you'd like to get up to handle that, that would be great. Sure, Mayor.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me the distinct pleasure to introduce Officer Bill Lane. Bill was sworn in this morning. Bill hails from San Luis Obispo, where he grew up and went to school and college. And September 2010, we picked him up as a reserve officer. So we've had plenty of time to watch Bill and have him get adjusted to the town of Atherton, and he's done really, really well here. He's very motivated and has a desire to serve the citizens of our community, and I'm honored to have him on our team as a full-time member of the department. And if you have an opportunity, you see him out and about in the community, say hello. He's going to be a good asset for us, and welcome aboard. Thank you.
Next presentation is by Steve Tyler of Public Works.
Yeah, I need those.
All right. Council members, Mayor, everybody. My name's Steve Tyler. I'm the Superintendent of Public Works here with the town of Atherton. And as you know, we're going through a transition with our Public Works Department currently. And we want to try to make this transition very transparent, let you guys know what we're doing, and let you know how things are going currently in Atherton with our Public Works Department. So I put together this small presentation for you all to see. At your July 20th council meeting, the City Council approved the selection of MCE Corporation to provide public works maintenance and operation services. MCE began providing these services for the town of Atherton on September 16th, 2011, actually in the afternoon. For the town of Atherton, Public Works Maintenance and Operations, these services include street maintenance, park maintenance, and facility maintenance. Things in street maintenance would be what you would imagine, asphalt work, traffic signs, pavement markings, care of the Atherton Channel, tree work, and those things out in the streets. Park maintenance are all things concerning the park, including turf mowing, irrigation systems, landscape planning, and water wells. And facility maintenance encumbers all the facilities, the hard facilities in the town, which would include the council chambers we're sitting in, the library next door, and even the city manager's residence out at the park. Go to the next one. Prior to September 16th, services provided by the town of Atherton staff were provided by the town of Atherton staff that work for Atherton, both permanent, full-time, and temporary. Staffing consisted of 6 full-time staff supplemented by temporary part-time hourly staff. We had 1 street supervisor, 1 park supervisor, and 4 maintenance workers. Those made up the 6 positions. MCE Corporation has come on board, and they're just a little background about them. They provide contract public works maintenance services to cities in Northern California now for over 28 years. With a staff of over 100 employees, MCE currently provides streets, parks, and facility maintenance services to 8 cities, ranging from as small as 2,000 to as many as 150,000 residents. For the town of Atherton, MCE has committed 4 full-time staff to perform the full range of services previously performed by our town staff. To mitigate layoffs to town staff, MCE interviewed all interested town maintenance staff who were being laid off for possible positions here in Atherton. As a result of this effort, 3 of the 4 staff members assigned to Atherton are former town employees. Bill Butler is now supervising the group. Many of you may know him. You've seen him around now for probably the last 15 years. Francesca Perez is now working in the park. She's got really vast experience working the city of Campbell and the city of San Jose. She's got a biology degree from the University of New Mexico. And then we've got John Royas, who used to be a part-time worker here with the town, and Javier Andrade, who was a permanent full-time worker prior. One of my new responsibilities in the town of Atherton Public Works Organization is now to manage and direct all MCE work activities. That means I will be responsible for creating the MCE work programs through the development of annual, monthly, and weekly work plans, which will define all of the scheduled work performed by MCE throughout the fiscal year. If you get nothing else from this presentation I'm giving, I want you guys all to know that all the work that these guys will be doing on a daily basis will be directed by me. The scheduled work will be done by one of the following plans. We're going to have the, you can go ahead and switch it, annual work plans, monthly work plans, weekly work plans, and then for the things that come up throughout the day, such as a light bulb that's burned out in the city manager's office, or a garbage disposal that's not working over in the park pavilion, we will do work order, we're developing a work order program. So we can go ahead and move on. Our annual work plan is kind of a 40,000-foot overlook of what we know we have to do here in Atherton during the year. We know we have to clean the Atherton Channel prior to the rainy season. We know we have to get into the drains and get them clean. We know we have to do so much sidewalk repairs every year and such. So we put that all on an annual work plan and schedule out the times of the year that we can accommodate all that work with the amount of people we have. Then we go to the monthly work plan. Now we're getting close, where we can look ahead a month away and start gathering our materials and equipment that we're going to need to do that work. So that when the time comes, we're not saying, well, today's the day we're supposed to go do shoulder work, so, oh yeah, I don't have the materials ordered yet. We're starting to put it together a month in advance. And then finally, the weekly work plan. This is actually this week's work plan we were able to put up here. And this is the one where the rubber meets the road plan. You can get out there and you know, by going by these work plans, you can come pretty close, unless they've been called out on some sort of a immediate response. They're going to be doing what it says they're doing on this work plan. So We're directing their work, and then also with these plans, we can check the progress and make sure that we're getting what we paid for as far as production goes. Can you go to the next one? This is a work order template that we actually fired up for the first time today. A lot of cities have these work order programs where you get onto a computer and you type a work order, and then they go to all the different people they're supposed to go through, and they can run into the tens of thousands of dollars. I'm proud to say that we got this one running today actually with really with the help of MCE for no cost to the town of Atherton. We've got a program that's working. It's simple. I type in a work program, and Bill Butler's phone rings and says, "Oh, there's something going on." I mean, within about 30 seconds, it works great. So
So it's all online?
it's internet based, yeah.
So we'll be able to access it?
Not currently. It's all going through me because I've got to approve them all. Because we can't have everybody.
No,
in the city.
but the status and what your future plans, are they gonna be available online, or are they?
Absolutely.
You
Yes,
don't wanna
they are.
have them in paper form,
They
you wanna
will-
have them electronic.
They will be not only available online, but we will be generating reports to you guys on a monthly basis. So you can go ahead and just go quickly through these two. This shows an open work order, and the next one shows when it's closed, and they keep adding up, so pretty soon I've got pages full of them. And when I get the invoice that comes from MCE, I can say, yeah, they did that, yeah, they did that, okay, that one's good. Geez, this one took them 2 days, how come? So we can really track what's going on. Very excited about getting that going. In an effort to keep the council updated on work, costs, and public work issues, staff's goal is to provide the following. Staff creates monthly reports for the city manager and city council review. So every month you guys will be getting a report as part of your council package. Purpose of the reports are to provide a monthly summary of work activities, accomplishments, and the budget status. We're budgeting money. We're telling you guys what this is going to cost a year. We're going to show you exactly where we're at every month, percentage of that budget. If we're on it, if we're over it, if we're under it, and how we're going on. And we're going to use some simple, easy to look at things. You guys are busy, something like a pie chart. You can see things really easy. It makes it nice. Summary of all our work activities, monthly expenditures and budget status, primary work activities, some of the major issues that may have happened during the month that you guys should be aware of, as well as planned activities for the next month. So not only are you going to see what we did last month, what's going on the next month, and we're prepared to get going on that as of the next meeting. So before I answer any more questions you guys have, I'd like to introduce Steve Lowry. Steve, you're in here somewhere. Steve, he's the Vice President of the Maintenance Division for MCE Corporation, who's taking the time out tonight to be with us in case there's any other questions you might have directly from them. So with that, are there any questions?
Well, any council members have any questions? First of all, Steve?
Well, I guess, will we be seeing a savings by using this outside maintenance company versus our in-town staff that we had for years?
Well, currently the plan shows there being a savings. I've gone to at least one other city. I've talked to a few other cities to say how MC does as far as staying online with their budget. If they were to stay online with the budget that that you guys approved for the current year, then we will be saving money. Yes.
A follow-up, does this include the park maintenance?
This includes the park maintenance.
So I didn't mean to imply that I wanted to have the ability to launch orders. Okay? But I would like to.
Everybody wants to do that.
No, I don't want to do that, but as you can probably imagine, occasionally council members get calls, sometimes late at night, saying, what's going on, when are you guys gonna be done, somebody was supposed to do this, or whatever. And we can at least go online and find out and have some real-time information and then follow up with you the next day.
Well,
So if we can have that type of activity, I don't think that we need anybody on this up here, maybe John. He needs to launch orders in his house, he needs to prepare. Other than that, you don't need to have that, but so I'm sorry if you misunderstood.
I don't know if we have the capabilities of that, but maybe that's something we can work on, Steve.
The access to this site can be secured in a number of ways with a number of access options. So what you're talking about is doable.
Thank you.
Any other council member questions?
Who, Steve, besides yourself, have capability of making these orders?
David Wynn, the town's assistant engineer. for taking over when I'm not around, or, in a meeting or locked up somewhere where they can't get a hold of me. Also, Bill Butler, on an emergency basis, can generate his own work order and put a little BB next to my name. And we're that close, we can work that tight together where I know they're not. The whole idea is we don't want them just deciding, we're gonna go out there and do this today and go do it. We're directing the work, and that's, that's the crux of the whole situation.
Any questions from members of the public?
You mentioned that you're gonna go from what used to be 6 town staff to 4
That's correct.
new people. Are you gonna try to accomplish as much as was hired before, or done before? Or you keep the same level of service, or are you gonna reduce the service?
Well, the goal is to keep the level of service and possibly raise it. That's the goal.
Lauren?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have a question or a concern, do you just go into the building department to reach one of you, or how is the best way to communicate with the public works department at this point?
Good question. If you go to the Atherton website under Public Works, there's a roster in there, and my name's Steve Tyler. I'm the Public Works Superintendent.
Okay.
So any of you that are here, that's the best way to do it. If it gets to me, I can actually dispatch from my iPhone. I don't even have to be at my computer to set one of these up, so I can get these guys going, and especially if it's an emergency immediately. Some things, that we try to plan and schedule to work, so if it's maybe a tall weed on El Camino that's really bothering somebody, we might save that till Friday. Okay, we're not gonna go run out every time somebody gives us one, but we'll make that decision at the time. Okay?
Thanks, Steve. It sounds like we're making good progress there.
It's a good team, so thank
Next
you.
item on the agenda is a presentation by Mike Kashiwagi, Building Department Operations.
Good.
Yes, Mayor, members of the City Council, I'm going to be giving a similar presentation as Steve just did, but now only on the Building Department provided council status.
I think we need to have you speak up a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe you could stand up.
Maybe
Mike,
stand
come
up
over
right
here.
Mike, yeah, I think it would be better.
Who's got the iPad? Oh, you got the telecom.
That's cool.
Yeah.
As council knows, on August 22nd, Interwest Consulting Group began providing full-service building department services to the town of Atherton. Previous to that, the building services was provided by town staff, with the exception of, I think over the last year, you had a contract building official. The previous building department consisted of 5 full-time employees. You had a full-time building official, a permit technician, and 3 staff who kind of did a combination of plans examining and building inspections. Next slide, please. These functions are now being performed by 4 full-time people. Starting from the top left, kind of going clockwise. Homer Mayel is your full-time building official. Homer is a licensed professional engineer. He's also a certified building official. He also holds certifications in plans examining and building inspections. Homer has over 26 municipal building department experience, 26 years of municipal building department experience. Dave Lassiter, he is your full-time plans examiner. Dave is a graduate civil engineer, and Dave has 20 years municipal building experience. And he also holds a number of certifications in both building inspections and plans examining. Mike Greenling is your full-time building inspector. Mike has over 12 years municipal experience in building inspections, and like our other staff, Mike also holds a number of certifications in both in building inspections. And your full-time permit technician is Carolyn Costa. And previous to coming to this town of Atherton, Carolyn worked for 5 years for other public agencies in the same capacity. So hopefully what you can see, you have a very experienced, very qualified team of building staff. But as we were putting this team together, in addition to their technical qualifications, the other things that were very important to us was to make sure that they were personable, that they had good communication skills, and their approach to performing work was compatible with the approach and philosophy that we felt was going to be important for the town of Atherton. Next slide, please. And this was to approach it in a very business-oriented manner and in a very customer-focused manner. From that, I mean that our focus in the first couple of months has been to make sure that we fully understand the town's building fee system structure, that we ensure that the current software that the city is utilizing accurately calculates fees and can make sure that the revenue that's being collected is accurate and correct. And also, we wanted to ensure that the system has capability to monitor and track reviews and permit status from a performance standpoint. We also view our role and mission is to facilitate the efficient delivery of high quality, safe, and regulatory compliant homes here in the town of Atherton. And by doing that, it's going to be important for us to take a partnering versus regulatory approach, that we balance the need to ensure conformance to standards and regulatory requirements with the need for predictability, consistency, and efficiency, and that we're creating systems and processes which are uniform, transparent, coordinated, and equitable, and that we're creating an environment and culture of no surprises for the project applicants and for the town. Next slide, please. We are governed by some performance standards that was part of our proposal to the town. And what these are is for major plan reviews. For the first reviews, we will complete those reviews in 10 working days or less. For the second review, we will do those in 5 days or less. For minor reviews, we will perform those reviews within 3 working days. And building inspections, as long as someone calls in by 2 o'clock the previous day, we will guarantee them an inspection for the following day. And in the 2 months that we've been doing this, we have been exceeding those standards, and for major reviews coming for the first time review, they haven't been in the office for more than 5 days before we got it back out to the architects. Next slide, please. So as we look ahead, we're actually looking behind a little bit. What we've been focusing on for the last couple of months is really trying to learn and understand the Atherton way. And what I mean by that is making sure we understand current processes, procedures, policies, etc. And where we go from here is really simple. Our focus will be making what's good better and improving on what's not so good. And the way that we're going to be doing that is in a very collaborative way by communicating and talking to the customers and learning from them, and to make sure that what we're doing, in addition to complying to standards, is also making sense and is facilitating their work. So to that end, we created what we're calling the Development Roundtable. And what this is we invited a group of builders and architects to attend a monthly meeting. We had our first meeting on October 3rd, I think it was. And we're going to be meeting the first Monday of every month. The purpose of these meetings is to improve and streamline the town's building process by creating a collaborative partnership between staff and the town's residential building stakeholders. Earlier, Steve passed out to you a little laminated contact list. We prepared those and gave those out at our first roundtable. The purpose being is we want to make sure that we're accessible as possible to everybody. And so everybody has that information, and we have our cell phones on it if anyone needs to get a hold of us. The other thing that we're doing is, one of the things that's very unique here in the town of Atherton is your trees. And so, we are going to be conducting some training for our 4 new building staff and myself to educate and sensitize ourselves on the importance of tree protection and preservation here in the town of Atherton, and to also gain appreciation and the importance of how trees contribute to the value and heritage of the town. And in doing this, we have partnered with the town's tree committee, and they have been very generous and actually provided me the person who will be doing the training, and that's Dr. Larry Costello. And that training will be occurring next Thursday, October 27th. The other thing is that in your packet tonight, you'll see our first monthly community services report. And we plan on doing this just like in Public Works. Every month we're reporting on our activities. Building activities, as well as planning activities, and the activities of code enforcement. One of the things that isn't in this report, but we hope to have for future reports, is also the activities of the new account audience. So with that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any questions?
A couple of questions. Mike, recently there's been quite a bit about the sudden death oak problem. Have there been signs here in Atherton that your arborist has picked up?
That, I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't get that.
My other question, I guess, is I want to ask both you and, or maybe ask the city manager here. Is there anything that, in the way of a report card or evaluation system you are thinking about implementing on the town website in terms of resident feedback as to how well departments should be performing and getting resident comments?
Mayor and council members, in particular, we're discussing a feedback customer service card in the building department as well as the entire public works operation. And as we enhance the ability of the website, we'll start taking feedback off of that as well.
Any other questions? I have just non-scientific feedback, but I walk around the town quite a bit and trying to keep myself in shape. Anytime I see a new project, new building project, I walk in and ask to see the builder, and I ask them what kind of service are we getting from the town. And recently, the builders have really been enthusiastic. It's not particularly scientific, but it's certainly nice to walk in there and hear people saying we're getting better service now than we ever did. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay. The next item on the agenda are public comments, and these are for items not on the regular agenda. I know tonight that there are people who want to talk about the library, but I would ask that they wait until that comes up as part of the agenda item. So, okay. Paul?
Hi, my name is Paul Quinlan, and I live on Maple Avenue in Atherton. And I want to spend a few minutes talking to the council about basically safe routes to school. And in particular, how students and basically elementary students in this neighborhood and the neighborhood around Holbrook Palmer Park get to Ensenal. Middlefield is a very busy street, particularly in the morning when the kids go to school. And I think you'll all agree it's not a particularly desirable street to send elementary age school kids down, particularly the kindergartners and people like that. However, there is a better route to Ensenal, and that's through our park and through Fountain Gables neighborhood. However, the key, so to speak, of that route is the gate between Holbrook Palmer Park and Fountain Gables. And as you may or may not know, in about 2003, the town granted Fountain Gables the privilege of building a gate in the back corner of our park. And the access agreement talked about the ability of Fountain Gables people to access the park through that gate. For whatever reason, it didn't talk about whether Atherton residents have the ability to access that gate. About 2 years ago, we approached Fountain Gables and asked if we could access the gate so our kids could get to school. And basically they said no. They gave us the runaround, and eventually we couldn't set up any meetings with them because they were always unavailable because they knew what we wanted to ask. Earlier this month, we again tried to ask for some access so that our kids could get to school, and again they said no. This time, interestingly, they said the access agreement prohibits them from granting access to the park. And so what I'd like to ask the town to do is, and I'm not sure if this is putting it on the agenda or doing whatever, is to try and either approach or have someone approach Felton Gable to ask for an amendment to the agreement to allow Atherton residents to access the park. And I'm happy to draft anything that you want for review by council. I'd like to make it as easy as possible. And I also further submit that if Felton Gables is unable or unwilling to reciprocate the access that Atherton generously provided 8 years ago, that we take steps to terminate the agreement and cut off the access. And I will volunteer to fund the construction of a fence across that gate if Felton Gables forces us to withdraw the privilege. Thanks.
Paul, I just want to say, I have a copy, well, not the signed copy, but a copy of the original agreement I meant to bring with me tonight to give to you. I'll make sure I get it to you by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
There used to be a gate that you could get through off of Surrey, which was there, and they blocked it off. They requested that it get blocked off because they didn't want people parking in their neighborhood. But they now have all no parking signs when they actually pushed all the parking out of Encinal. So I think the time is right to ask for maybe that original gate to be opened, but maybe we could have our city manager work with you on something, and that's great. I share your concern.
Okay.
Any other public comments?
Colleen Anderson. I hope you all received my email today, and I hope you all somehow will be able to listen to the tape. It's interesting, this came from an email from one member of our group saying the ending statement that she said is, "We have no voice, we must remember that." She's actually talking about what happens in Atherton. I also was speaking with an Atherton resident today that said in a day and a half, she was able to get 300 people to sign a petition. So I think what's happening here is people feel that they don't have a voice sometimes, so the people are coming together to maybe put things on ballot, and wouldn't it be better if we felt heard? I did meet with Mr. Connors about getting a copy of my tape. And I've come in front of you on this particular officer, so on and so forth, a number of times. And I had forgotten to mention as well, any of you that know Jim Plunkett's daughter, when we were out in a dog walk, said that he had targeted both her and her brother. I asked why the parents wouldn't come forward, and that's because her brother had passed away. It was a very sore subject. So I left Mr. Connor's office with John, and I went up because he's the first one. I've met with each chief of police except our current one, so I still need to give him time to see about particular incidents that have happened, like the cop coming to us for a loan. I mean, the yelling at me. And again, I wouldn't be so traumatized if it wasn't the way he talked about the residents and how he didn't like us, he hated us. So I asked that he not be on my street. I tried to make a complaint on tape. I've tried to get a copy of that tape. When I went in after meeting with Mr. Connors, I said to the person, I said the wrong number, it was John at the front desk, and John was with me, and he said, "Oh, so you want a factual innocent sheet? There isn't one." And I said, "No, I'd actually like a police complaint form," because I had found out, which I've been telling all of you for a long time now, that's what I should have done originally, was file a complaint form. So I did go to do it, went to fax it to Mr. Connors, he didn't get back to me, found out he was in Hawaii. So it's this type of thing. Now, John Buckeye did get a copy because the judge did grant it to John as a complaint on the thing. So again, we're not feeling heard. I'm kind of scared. I don't know. It's just not working here. So if there's some way, when residents are saying this and 300 residents sign a petition in a day that want to start taking things to vote, because we can all get together and get 750 signatures if this is what it's going to take on issues. But I didn't say this in this email. Someone else did.
Lauren?
John Buckeye, 34 Selby. First, I want to say, Colleen, I think it takes a lot of courage for you to speak up about police misconduct when the police department is videotaping the meeting and putting it on the internet. It may be legal, but it is audacious. And frankly, Chief Flint, I had expected it would stop when he became the chief. I guess I was wrong about that. In my opinion, when politicians and when police officers say to the taxpayers of this community, you should pay for a very professional white glove police department, and you should pay property taxes and parcel taxes and more parcel taxes, and maybe even make a charitable donation while you're at it. Then if an officer is rude and belligerent to one of those taxpayers, that's a fair game kind of complaint. It's not someone being a crybaby, it's not someone being a nuisance. But it's a very legitimate issue, and I think that's what Colleen has done. The tape that she wants, I think, is going down the road of possibly another public records lawsuit getting filed against the town. I think that's very unfortunate. I think it's very unfortunate in particular because, in my opinion, the town has a vastly improved management team from the one that I dealt with 2 years ago. I think the city manager, city attorney, and police chief are head and shoulders above the previous management team. And that was a very low bar, by the way. But I still think there's been a big improvement. And I think it would be a shame in what seems to me to be such a clear-cut situation for some good Samaritan to come along and find an attorney for Colleen or pay for an attorney. Because there are a lot of people who just simply don't like bureaucracies telling people that you won't be treated fairly simply because we can't. And I think she's entitled to a copy of this tape. I've listened to it. The dispatcher on the tape refers to her making a complaint. The California law on police complaints says that when a police complaint is made, the person making it is legally entitled to have a copy of it. When we met with Mr. Connors, who was a perfect gentleman, he said he's concerned about the privacy rights of the dispatcher in releasing the tape. That's very incongruous to me. I didn't realize that a paid public employee has privacy rights in the performance of his or her duties. But I would note that several months ago, the Atherton Police Department released a dispatch tape of the student at Selby Lane School calling the police because her teacher banged the desk on the floor. There were no privacy rights involved in that situation. So I truly hope this gets resolved. My own experience with the Atherton Public Records Act, I believe, is commonly regarded as one of the worst abuses in the history of the state of California. And that should not be relived. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lauren Bruner, and I just